I can't stand how secretive this government is, and I also can't stand how often people turn around and say, oh, but compared to the... No. These people are in power. They use freedom of information to say no to everything, and they're trying to beef up those laws to say no to even more. And whatever documents they do end up handing over, they are constantly redacted. A senator whom probably disagrees with me as much as I do him on many different issues is Senator David Pocock. We spoke a little bit earlier about this phenomena that he is trying to take the fight up to, and I will gladly invite him on the program to discuss this and other matters, because our democracy needs more sunlight.
A huge number of things, Paul, and I guess it's really frustrating because Labor in opposition railed against Scott Morrison's secrecy, and then when the numbers were crunched on the last Parliament, it turns out that the Albanese government was more secretive than the Morrison government. You know, the government who, after they lose government, we find out that the Prime Minister had 5 secret ministries. Like, that's a pretty big achievement, being more secretive than them. And you're right, they kind of say, well, where everyone does it, but that's it just doesn't cut it. Like the sorts of things, I mean, in the last week, we've seen them put a suppression order on a public interview with a foreign prime minister, with the Nauruan prime minister. And I just don't see how that is something that shouldn't be in the public domain. I've been chasing reports on jobs for mates that the government commissioned, all sorts of things that I think really are in the public interest. You know, they are paying for these reports and getting these reports done in our name, and I don't see why there's an argument that they shouldn't be made public.
Why do you think that the benefit of the doubt has extended as long as it has in and around this government? Because, again, I understand what the echo was from the previous one, but if you stand up and say, we are going to do X, and you end up doing the exact opposite of it, people start to get annoyed. Now, I'm not talking about moving votes. I'm just talking about, surely this government has lost the benefit of the doubt that they are going to be transparent, because the proof is very different. And as you say, we're talking about a suppression order of 10 years on the translation of a Facebook video. Not the secrets about where's Harold Holt, no secrets about where's the gold in the Snowy Mountain scheme, no secrets about, I don't know, where the free uranium is, whatever, right? This is stuff. And again, it's sort of it seems just like piss weak reasons for this being put in place as well. Don't you think?
Well, it seems to be something that both sides of politics do, and I think it's something that independents and the entire crossbench really has been pushing governments on for a very long time now, saying transparency should be the sort of the bare minimum, the entry level to being a government. You're doing things in our name. You should be transparent in your decisions. When you get these independent reports, they should be made public. When you do consultation, there shouldn't be non-disclosure agreements. These are things, when I talk to people I represent here in the ACT, they're common sense. They say, of course, that should be the standard. But we see both sides of politics, I don't know, treating us for mugs and I guess using the lack of transparency as a way to go about the business of government. And I guess I'm really concerned in the scheme of things. If you zoom out, you look across the world, we're seeing this erosion in trust in politicians, in government, in institutions, and yet we're facing some pretty big challenges. And I think politicians, governments, institutions need to be stepping up and actually doing things that rebuild that trust.
This is something that is really important, right? If the Libs want to learn any lesson out of the past 2 thumpings they got at federal elections, integrity issues, transparency issues, there's stuff that doesn't cost money. It just costs, yes, a little bit of political advantage that you might be willing to give up should you ever get anywhere near government. But fair income, there are plenty of people who are there to assist, and they should be backing you in at all quarters on this. Hey, before we go, one of the other things you're firing up about at the moment is some of these not so subtle but significant changes when it comes to social security. What do we need to keep an eye on, Senator?
Well, the government had this bill which really didn't contain much controversial. It had the backing of basically everyone. And it went through a inquiry process, and there was a week between the end of the inquiry and this bill being introduced and passed in the lower house, and they whacked on what was sort of titled Schedule 5, which essentially gives the AFP Minister of the Day the ability to cancel someone's social security payments without them being proven guilty of an offence. So the government says, well, if someone is accused of a serious crime and then is on the loose, or the police say, listen, we can't find this person, then we can just cut their social security payments. The Australian Law Council, over 100 frontline community organisations have said, hang on, this is a really dangerous precedent to actually say we can essentially punish someone, the parliament, the minister can punish someone before they're actually proven guilty in a court of law. So myself and other crossbenchers made a lot of noise about it today. It'll come up to a vote, I assume tomorrow. I just really worry about this precedent. These people, they may well be on the run, but they could also have children who are dependent on the payments or whatever they may be receiving. And I just don't think, without due process, we should be handing a minister that much power.